Hi everyone, Tom here. Another tabletop tour. I am talking to Jonathan tonight, the English miniatures painter. Um, so yeah, once hey guys, once Jonathan comes on, I'll hook him up to the live stream, live chat. Um, yeah, so hopefully Jonathan isn't too far away, and we can get talking very soon. For I think this is episode 7, maybe even 8, which is a little bit crazy. Um, yeah, which is getting there now. Got a whole new group of people as well, new series as well to come. So thankfully, this has been quite popular. Um, if you have any questions for Jonathan, pop them in the chat. Because I'm sure he'll be keen to check it out. Um, yeah, hopefully he comes on soon. And here is the gent. And I will add him now. And here he is.
Hello.
How
Hello.
you doing,
Not too
buddy?
bad yourself?
Yeah, I can't complain. I can't complain. A little bit bright and early for you there, but
It's fine. I'm a sport worker. I'm always up early.
yeah, same mate, same. I feel you. I feel you. I'm just going to adjust my brightness a little bit. It's too dark. Jeez, there we go. It's a little bit better. Hey guys from the chat. So welcome along. We've just started. So welcome, Jonathan. Thank you very much for joining me for. I think this is number 7 or 8. I
I
can't
think it's 7.
think it's 7,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's been quite good. Thank you for coming along and agreeing to join in.
That's all right. Thank you for inviting me.
So I wanted to start out real quick with a basic thing of just how long you've been sort of in the hobby and how long have you been painting for. Um, what kind of drew you to the hobby and what was your first sort of interactions with it?
So I've kind of like started the hobby 3 times. So I had it when I was about, I think, 12, 13 with a couple of mates. We never really did much. We just bought the models that we thought were cool. So I started with originally a Necron army with all the metal figures before they turned to plastic. Um, and it kind of so after 2 or 3 years, it didn't go anywhere and gave up. Then I picked it up another year later with another friend. Bought the old Chaos Battle Force, just like starter box type thing, but the mega
Oh yeah.
version of it. Then stopped again, and 2, 3 years later, just because of the situation. Then I picked it up this time when it must be 3 years, 2017. I picked it up, and I had a friend that um, started with the Rumble Slam.
Oh yeah.
So that's what got me back into it. Cause I used to quite like lots of wrestling and stuff like that. And then that's kind of grown since then, really. Um, even yeah, and now it's just kind of expanded into like board games and Warhammer, and as it does inevitably.
It's the way it kind of goes. You kind of fall back into it as you get a bit older, and you're like, oh yeah, I used to enjoy that, and I have the money to be able to do it now. So
That's it. One of my first projects when I came back into it this time as older was I bought the Forge World Great and Clean one. So I think it's one of my first pictures on here. And that was literally, I always wanted it as a kid, never got it. I grew up about an hour from Warhammer World. So I'd always seen it and gone, I really want that model, but I had not got the money. But yeah, as an adult, I was like, fuck it, I'm getting it.
so you have it now, and you have painted it.
Yes, yeah, I have painted it. I'm actually debating selling it at the moment, but that's a whole different.
Whole different thing. Yeah, I'll get onto a bit of that in a bit. But um, so your first army was Necrons. What kind of drew
Yeah,
you to Necrons? And I have to admit, I like
robots.
the old destroyers, like the old metal destroyers, like the little crouch. They're wicked. I still love them.
And yeah, it was that and like the Catan and stuff. I just liked the look of the figures, and they're walking robots, and that was just cool.
So what do you think of the new models that are literally have just been released? Are you going to be getting into those?
I like the look of them. I keep going. I really would love to paint them, but I'm not. I just can't. I've got such a backlog that I really have to start being sensible.
I don't know what you're talking about. What is this sensible approach to
Yeah,
hobbying you speak of?
I'm in a small flat, and then in future, if I end up moving in with my partner, I don't know where it's all going to go now. And that's kind of why I've been selling bits on the side and stuff, just to try and make room for other shit.
Fair. I can't really. It was when I moved in with now she's my wife. It was like, I need to buy a house that has storage for little men. You need and little toy soldiers. You need to keep this in mind when we're looking for places. She's like, oh, good to know. So.
Yeah, she understands. She's quite understanding, but she just doesn't get it. Like she is supportive, and if I say, "Look, I really want to go and play a game," or when we go and see my folks, because my folks still live near Warhammer World, I'm like, "I fancy going over." And she's like, "Yeah, no bother." It means nothing to her, makes no interest, but she's quite happy to sort of support from far.
I'm totally in exactly the same boat, mate. My wife is. It's your hobby, you enjoy it, but I don't really care about it. You know. Like, you just do you, and that's enough, to be fair for her.
Yeah.
It's all good. But the new Necron models, mate, if you get a chance, they are pretty... I shared a box with a mate of mine here, and I'm kind of regretting taking the marine side of it now, because the Necrons look pretty... Love to give them a paint. They're really good.
Yeah, I think it's the Sadamoni painter. I think I got this idea. I'd love to do like a bone ones, doing like bone look really gritty, and then like that doing that like color shift paint on their weapons.
Nice, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no.
In the future, just make sure you write it down, mate. Write it down as a thing to do in the future.
Yeah, to-do list.
It's a very long one. It's a very long one. And Shifty just said the fact you can spray them silver would be done. I mean, you're beating him with the color shift there. It's the color shift on Necrons that mint.
Yeah, and that's it. And too many other projects still.
Oh, I don't even want to think how long my project list is, mate. I'm with you on that. Or how many things are in a box of shame. It's just best not to think about it. Best not to think about it. You mentioned Rumble Slam.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those. I see the models for that, and they look. I really like the look of them. Some of them are just like really out there and really like just awesome looking models.
It's almost like enough near certain things as well.
It kind of emulates like the showman, like, you know, WWE and is it AWE or whatever it is now. It's kind of that sort of in your face.
Yeah.
So what would you? So if you were, you know, how would you describe the? Have you played the game?
Yeah. Quite times. So basically, yeah, it's a wrestling game. You'd roll special dice to either like grapple or hit or pick up, and basically it's whoever gets to pin the other person with this right dice. But you can also do, if you've got somebody who's got quite good grappling ability, you can pick them up and throw them over the side of the ropes. And then if that happens, then basically they're dead because the hooligans in the crowd just beat them up.
Right, okay. So is it like a quick game? Is it like, how long does it take to kind of do?
I'd say half an hour to an hour.
Oh, so it's pretty quick then.
Yeah, it just depends. You can have like one character versus one, or you can have like your own little, like, they've got factions and teams, and you can build them up with like a certain amount of money. So there's quite a good like campaign type system in it, where you can like earn money and then be able to buy additional wrestlers, but you can only use this amount of money wrestlers in this match and stuff like this.
That sounds quite a fun game, actually. It's not one of those games that I've seen too much of, and I have to admit, it doesn't get played too much in our area.
It died here about a year ago. It just completely died, and just nobody started playing it then.
Really?
And it's not like Games Workshop, where kind of they can get away with certain things, like they can ride out the storm. Whereas like a small game like that, if it dies in town or in city, that's it. it's not going to really come back unless you can convince a couple of people.
I'm well aware of dying games, mate.
Yeah.
I'm on board that train quite extensively. But you are also like, so in your feed and your Facebook and all that sort of stuff, you mentioned Rubble Sand, but you also like a lot of varied games, and you paint a lot of varied things. It's not like, so the previous people I've had on chat, you know, on this, you know, quite Warhammer centric, except for sort of Lisa, who just paints sort of kind of out there models or busts or big, large 54 plus models. But you have quite a wide range of game systems you paint, mate. So what? So I noticed you got Zombicide, the Hellboy game. I know nothing about that game at all. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that's. So Mantic is quite near Warhammer World as well. So it's another thing I know from when I used to live. Yeah, so that was. I've still got bits of it to paint actually. It's okay. It's almost like a dungeon crawler. It's probably the best description. There's like quirks similar to like Zombicide, where you play a character, but you can play as a team of characters and do the case files from the comics.
Okay.
And
right.
Yes.
So again, is it like a quick, it's a dungeon crawler? Can you have like people, like a co-op? Is it kind of like a co-op?
Kind of. Yeah, you're all working together as the. I can't remember what they're called now. It's gone completely out of my head. Basically, the agents. You work as a couple of the agents. There's like Hellboy, and then there's all the other ones. All names escape me now. So yeah, and you just pick a couple of characters and you go through the case file. So it's usually a story within the comics.
Okay.
Sort of like Zombicide. Thanks, Pete. BPRD. That's the one.
BPRD. Thank you, Shifty.
So yeah, and yeah, so it's quite similar sort of mechanics to Zombicide, and you roll special dice in this case, and you can attack, or you can, just dungeon crawler type game. It's another one I haven't played much of because I have this weird thing where I won't play with anything not painted.
Well, I'm with you on that. I'm not a big fan of the whole.
I don't care if people do it. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. But if I'm playing it, my faction or my people need to be painted. So I played
I'm totally with you, mate. Totally with you on that. I can't have, because it's like story driven. So why would it, like, I like it painted, and it's like, you know, he or she wouldn't be going into battle or searching through a dungeon or fighting zombies not painted or not in color. So it's kind of weird, you know. But again, if it's not my models, I don't give a shit, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know.
And that's it. Especially now at 40k, the 10 points.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting mechanic that they've thrown in there for giggles, and I've got to say I quite like it. I do like that thought, because it's kind of funny because it appeared. I mentioned this in other people. So for Battlefleet Gothic, in the campaign in that, if you put a unpainted model into it, it was the shittest model, like stats wise. It had lowest leadership, and before you couldn't actually increase or get experience until you painted it. So
that's quite cool. I wonder if they've got. I haven't looked too much into Crusades, but I wonder if they've got something similar in Crusades, because it makes sense. You're not wearing the faction colours type thing.
Yeah, how are your mates supposed to identify if you're not wearing the faction colours? I mean, Johnny over there is just, you know, he's blue and happy, but David over here, he's just grey. How am I supposed to not to know? I'm not supposed to shoot him. You know, that's the way it is. Yeah, that's totally it. What is your favourite system? Because you paint like such a varied thing.
I was going to really like 40k. That tends to be the thing I always pick up, and I always go back to playing. I seem to only play if there's a tournament. Was the best, you know. I've got no chance of winning, but I always seem to just play at tournaments. I never seem to just get one game here. I've only ever played, but it means I can have a day of like 3 or 4 games. And they usually come like top 5, so out of 20.
I didn't know you played tournaments.
Yeah, I'm not a competitive player. I don't really care that much. But yeah, I played just because of the fact that you get a couple of games in a day.
Yeah, that's a really actually a good approach to it. Thinking about it and playing tournaments, you'll meet people as well that you might be able to play afterwards and stuff, or another time.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what's happened is, well, when COVID also, one of our local shops opened, I met somebody there who said, oh, I'm just getting into Warhammer. Haven't played a game. I've got this faction. And then I was like, oh, I'll happily teach you. And that's generally how, and then it's ended up that then through Instagram, I found another guy who lives in Aberdeen, and now I'm in another group of like similar-minded painters and players. So it's kind of like expanded quite quickly that way. Not that we've been able to get any games because we've just come out of local lockdown.
Yeah, how is I was going to actually ask about this. How is the scene in sort of Aberdeen? You're way up north there, but it's a big town, Aberdeen. I've been there a few times back in the day, but a long time ago now. But
yeah,
good scene up there for games and clubs.
Well,
and
we have 2 independent miniature shops and a Games Workshop.
Oh, okay, that's really good.
Yeah, so it's got quite a good, like 40k tends to be better, and like with my roller derby team, there's like 3 people in my team that actually play Warhammer as well. So it kind of expands from there, and yeah, we usually get like 20. So the last tournament I did was 1,000-point tournament, and there was 22 people. So it's quite good, really.
Yeah, that's quite good. That's quite a lot of people, to be fair.
Yeah, it was cramped.
Yeah, you can't really have that at the moment with COVID.
No.
I mean, starting to kind of progress out of it, kind of. So hopefully, you'll be able to get back playing games again. I was fortunate they've opened the independents here so we can get games in. But it's all
both of ours have just opened for that now as well,
which is good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, rolling dice again. You don't realise how much you miss rolling dice until you start doing it again. So,
yeah.
It's kind of terrifying. But then when I played on Thursday night, my mate must have been saving up all his 6s. I don't even know how many of those bloody things he rolled. It was terrifying. Just, so frustrating.
We have a guy here that's known for just permanently rolling low. Just always. Always rolls low. What's brilliant, because when I don't anymore, but Infinity.
Yeah.
So you need low dice rolls for that game. So he's just really well at that game.
Well, you got like everyone always hates a 1, but in new 40k, 1's actually, most armies kind of re-roll a 1. So now 2 is the real crap roll. Like if you get a 2, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, especially now you can only buff to a certain point dice now, and so especially with some of the Nurgle guys, like the crossers, it gives you a +1 to disgusting resilient. What's brilliant, but actually, if you don't then get a 1, let's say I can't remember now, but yeah, and it's like, oh, if you get 1, shit, well that's a 2 I don't get to re-roll.
Yeah, damn it. It's come back to haunt me. My special ability has kind of come back to haunt me. So frustrating. That's all. I mean, I haven't had a play of 9th yet. I've read the rules and seen the community playing it and watched some YouTube videos and all that sort of stuff. So that's been quite good. And I'm looking forward to that Crusade, like you say, using Crusade and how it goes once we can get.
That's my big problem. Like, I think Crusade would be awesome. My problem is trying to get enough games to actually make it enough narrative for me, because there's so many other things. It's like, when do I fit it in?
That's the struggle, isn't it? Life comes first, obviously, but yeah.
Oh God.
What force are you going to use for Crusade when you get a chance?
Death God is the one I always tend to go back to for 40k.
I can't really fault that. They're probably tier 1, probably the best army at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. As I say, I'm not a massively competitive player because I can't be arsed.
I'm telling you that.
So I just like the whole idea of zombies. So that's why I have that army.
Can't fault it. I can't fault it. I mean, I've got the Japanese Death Guard ones because when I was over in Japan, I was like, I have to find the store that sells these. I'm never going to own any more Nurgle, but
yeah, I've got the same. They're hiding in my pile of shame. I've got all 6. I painted one already, but I've also bought another 6 that I'm then waiting to paint at some point.
They are beautiful models. I've got so far as to open them up and have a good look at the sprues, but that's as far as I've got. But they are lovely. So I do look forward to painting those, I have to admit. Eventually.
Yeah.
So what is your favourite model then? Talking about that, what would you got? There's a long list there. Like you don't have to narrow it down to one game. What would
I've actually really enjoyed painting the Power Rangers. Even though it's the one that I'm doing at the moment, I actually really enjoyed doing that. It was quite nice to get back into that sort of thing. Because, as I said, I think anyway, I've got like cartoon tattoos, and so I've got like half a sleeve Pokemon, and then I've got turtles on my shin, and I've got plans to get like Power Rangers and Thunderbirds and Simba and a couple of things like that. Just slowly but surely, as I sell things, that's what the money's going to.
Another hobby, tattoos.
Yeah. So
I have a work. She's left now, but I had a workmate that did a very similar thing. She's got but it was Star Wars related. So it was like she only started with like one, and then it just went. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander. And then it started growing, and it just kept going, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should slow down a little bit. Yeah.
So you got Charmander and Bulbasaur.
Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Eevee, Abra, Ghastly, Pidgey. That's it, and a Pokemon.
Love it. I can't fault that, to be honest. As a massive Pokemon fan myself, I mean, like, I'll get onto this because I wanted to talk about the Power Ranger stuff and kind of where did you get them, who makes them, and like what brought you into it? Because I'm a '90s kid as well. I grew up with all the things you just mentioned, like Turtles and Thundercats and all that sort of stuff. I mean, if you get a Lino tattoo, mate, that's just gold.
See, that's a bit old for me. So I was born in '89.
Yeah, you're okay. You're a bit younger than me.
Yeah, more bike mice from Mars.
Love it. Love it. Gargoyles. Maybe a gargoyle one.
Yeah.
Some gargoyles. I should really stop. I'm spending your money here.
Yeah. No, so Power Rangers, that was a Kickstarter from Renegade Studios. So they've done Scott Pilgrim, I believe, as well. They did Scott Pilgrim vs. World. But yeah, so I've got all of it. I think it's about £650 it's worth now. Wow. So this thing that I've literally just finished painting, just posting anyway, because I paint a couple of weeks ahead of where I post. Then, I've got all the base game, and then there's like Lord Draco, who is Tommy Oliver. If he took both powers, the white and red is part of the comics. I've got Bulk and Skull. I've got Pat Megazord. I've got Zeo Rangers. It's about £600 collection.
So is that officially licensed by Bandai? Is it Bandai?
Yeah. So they've got the license. So it is, and it is Power Rangers. It's called Heroes of the Grid. I believe there was like a mobile game called Heroes of the Grid. I believe.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but yeah. Sorry.
Does it tie in with it? Like the game?
Don't know. Not a clue, but I know. Yeah. So yeah, it's got all the base Rangers. And it all comes back from Sentai, because that's what it was called in China. And they use Sentai footage to,
There's a great, on Netflix, there's you can watch a show that's growing all up. And like Sabat, I can't remember his first name, like brought it over from Japan, and it was like he took all the Japanese footage and then just filmed the American actors, like when they got the gear off, and then just subs them in. And that ruined the illusion for me, because I always thought Tommy was like this amazing, like kick-ass,
well, the guy
like
who plays
superhero.
Jason Frank. I can't think. It's something Jason something Frank. He's actually an MMA fighter now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he did MMA for years. He was never amazing, but yeah, he did MMA.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I think I was listening to it. I'm not a big Tommy Oliver fan. I much preferred Jason. But I think he was saying that he got in a lot of trouble because he kept wanting to do the stunts. And they were like, no, we can't let you. And he kept doing all his own stunts.
I love it. It's a really interesting show. Like there's other, like, it tells you about Teenage Mutant and Barbie and Hello Kitty and all those sorts of ones. But I don't know, when Power Rangers came up, I was like, that's mad. I never knew that as a kid. Like,
yeah. And the Turtle one was actually quite interesting as well, because there was a Turtles one.
Turtles one was like the two lads that made it, like, and it was like a dark comic to start, and it was like, what?
Yeah, it was like very dark.
Because I had the first, I've still got them somewhere. I've got the first action figures for the Turtles, and when they first came out in the UK, like my parents would hunt for them, and it was like I had the van and everything, and the blimp, loved it. So it was, so good. So I appreciate the turtle tattoo, mate.
Yeah, it's one of the Kickstarters I'm waiting for is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they did a game, I can't remember, it's been a couple of years because they've had big problems with it. I can't remember who's made it. But yeah, so there was originally a game, and then they've done a second Kickstarter for the get a bit of expansion type thing. I think Power Rangers are on there, just on their third or fourth Kickstarter.
Wow. I'm so up for a Turtles one. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to find that.
I'll send the pictures and things to you.
Yeah, I'm well up for that. That's stuff that maybe where somebody has to be dropped. I think that's wicked. Do you ever, jumping back to, so why did you jump on the Power Rangers one?
Fucking love Power Rangers. It was a big thing. Power Rangers, Pokemon, and Turtles were big things when I was kids for me. It was everything. And I remember it with fondness as well, because my brother, so I've got a younger brother who's 3 years younger than me, and it was our thing. We always watched Power Rangers. I was always the Red Ranger, I think. He was always the Blue Ranger. And so it was a big thing. So it's like a bit of you do
nostalgia and growing up.
Yeah, it's like reminiscing type idea, but it is something things that are important, like were important to the person I've become. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's people are like, oh, why have you got these tattoos? I'm like, well, because they're important to me, and I don't just go, oh, fuck it, I'm going to get this as a tattoo. I think about it a year ahead.
Yeah, meaningful. Yeah.
And that's it. So I know what I want next. My partner knows what I want next. But it doesn't mean I'm going to get it next week. It means I'm going to wait for, it's been about 6 months already, but I'm going to wait about a year and then I'll get it. Because if I want it still in a year, I want it. If I want it now and then don't want it in 6 months, well, it's glad I didn't waste it.
Awkward then, isn't it?
And that's it.
Can't really get rid of that at that point. You're like, oh, probably need to colour it now. And,
Big black mark.
Yeah, it's not going to end well, is it? So... But so have you got? So my main question with that Power Rangers, have you got the Dinozord?
Yes, yeah, the Mighty Morphin Dinozord.
Was it Dragonzord? Sorry, I should say Dragonzord.
No, they don't have one yet. There is somebody in like the groups on Facebook that is designing them all and selling them as 3D prints. But holy shit, they're expensive.
Yeah, I feel the pain on that one.
It's expensive, but jeez, I think
they're putting it on like Shapeways or something.
Sorry,
are they going to like put it on Shapeways or something like that? Is that how they're going to do it?
No, don't know. But yeah, you don't really need the Megazord. This is the thing. You don't really need it for the game. It's just a bit of fun.
I disagree. I think you do need it.
You do. I keep saying I want like individual ones. They should bring like each of the like sections, but then like the Zeo Rangers haven't got a Megazord, and in time is it? I can't remember now what the other one they did. But they know there's only literally the Megazord. But to be honest, it's the one you really remember.
Yeah. It's like the first one, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's the kind of
The
like
Zeo
cool.
I can see, but I know it's a bit more, so it's kind of that.
Yeah. So there's a whole game associated with it as well.
Yeah, so you kind of, I haven't played it, so it's just going from what I've seen people do. Basically, you've got a command center, and then you've got like 4 areas around it, and each of those areas, you turn a card over, and it would be like 2 putties, let's say, and then you put the 2 putties in the corresponding area, and then it will thing, and then they can panic. You as Rangers have got to go there, defeat them by picking the right cards and destroying the cards, so that each card has a certain attack value, and you've got to roll a dice to get that attack value or that effect. So yeah, it's another roll dice card associated game. The figures are just there because they're there.
Yeah, so it's more of that. Yeah, okay, so it's more of a card sort of dice game than moving Rangers in a way, like you mentioned.
You kind of do move them areas, and you can only move. You get like 2 actions. So one action is moving them to a certain area to go on around Eagle Grove and go on to defeat the putties or super putties or Z putties, or they've done. I forgot what they're called now, but basically Lord Draco ends up with the black. He gives loads of people the Black Power Ranger power, and that's how he takes over the multiverse.
Right. I gotcha.
Yeah, so.
No, I just remember like Rita and doing her crazy stuff and with the staff and all that sort of stuff. And then I remember the first movie.
I watched that recently, actually. I was like, oh my God.
Well, see, this is the dangerous thing as you get older and you're like, oh, I'm just going to relive, like check the old cartoons or something else out, and you realize a lot of them haven't aged well.
Well, fun fact about Power Rangers. So the rest of the Power Rangers films are all filmed. The TV series is filmed in America, but they were on a world tour of the Power Rangers, and they actually filmed the movie in Australia.
Yeah, there's some in New Zealand as well.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, you go on a world tour. Fuck it, we'll film a film while we're out here.
Why not? I could give it a crack. I can't really argue with it. That's because it made and it still does make absolutely bucket tons of cash for Bandai and all that sort of stuff. So it was just interesting seeing when you're popping up on your feed, and if anyone in the chat hasn't seen how there's such cool, it's nostalgia, but also it's just really good painting.
There's a guy called Spartan, and I think it's 318. I think it is, and he's done literally all of the games now. And he's incredible, and he's really, really good. I definitely recommend people to go and look at him, because just his painting skill is incredible.
I will add him to my list of. It's quite funny when I've been doing these talks. So many of you guys have just gone, "Oh, you should check out this person." I'm like, I've never heard of them, never seen them pop up. How do I not know?
I always wonder, you get your little bubble of people, and then you've got to break into other people's, because I bet there's people in another bubble that's very like this one but doesn't know about each other, and I always just think, I wonder. Yeah,
totally. It's quite funny because I was talking to Dark Elf Erin yesterday, and she said a very similar thing, and it was there's in a way it's kind of like little niches, little cliques in areas that you're trying to have a chat with everyone, sort of thing.
I've noticed that. I try not to watch it too much about follower account, but ever so often I'll jump in followers, and I'm like, oh, burst another bubble.
Yeah, I found another group of like-minded nerds. It's great.
It just seems to jump ever so often, and I go, oh, I've gained this many. Oh God.
It's just weird, isn't it? You wake up, and you're like, someone. How did someone find me? Because I've got this massive jump. What's happened? What? But I'm with you. It's quite funny because I talked to Tom Garavan the other couple of weeks back about chasing follower count, and hey, Aaron, literally talk of the devil, hey. And he was I think we're all kind of in the like-minded things. Like, why? What does it mean? It doesn't really mean anything. It just kind of adds. But there's more people to talk to.
Yeah, it is nice, and like I try not. Oh, I've gained 100. I've gained 100. I try and do it like every 1,000 at the moment now, or 500, and I just try not to. But yeah, I've before got quite bogged down in the I'm so close to this and this, and yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it kind of affects your hobbying in a way. Like it kind of like, it's kind of one of these weird things where you go, oh well, what did I post that kind of generated the interest to have the jump? And should I do more of that? But actually, in reality, you shouldn't. You should just do what you want. Well, that's it.
I look at some of my photos and go, God, how have I got that many photos? The likes on this photo was actually doesn't look that good, but this one, I really like the look of it, but it's got half the amount. And like, there's a couple of them that I know I've done a lot more work on, and I know they look a lot better, but actually on the photos, it doesn't really come out as well. So like I did the object source lighting with the Blue Power Ranger. So I did it, it's like the light was coming down from it, and it looks really good when you look at it, but actually it came out and didn't come out in photos.
It's amazing how that works. I actually literally posted my a character for my Escher army today, gang, and the photos, I'm like, I hate it. I hate the photo. I think it's awful. And when I've got it in, just in my hand, I'm like, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Why can't my photo show this?
Yeah, it was like the Black Ranger. I hate the picture of the Black Ranger I've got. It looks awful. It makes the paint look really thick. I don't even know what has happened there. It's just awful. But I'm like, it doesn't look like that. When I look at it, it just doesn't look. It's just so weird.
My filters, my eyes wrong or something. Like, it's like,
do I need to go and get some more glasses?
Yeah, I think I need some new ones. Clearly, like, so yeah. Shit.
I read them for. I wear glasses for reading, and I don't wear them for painting. And I'm like, I wonder sometimes. I'm like, should I wear them?
All I'm blind is about, mate. Like literally, like boom. So if I take these off, I'll be like, what the hell is going on? So well, true. That it has got me out of some situations. Let's not talk about that though. So you got a YouTube channel as well that I know it's kind of new.
Yeah, kind of like, so it's just uploading the pictures from Instagram. So it was another way to get people to go, oh, I'll go and have a look on the social media. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram now. So it's another way, just like people being able to find my content. It's not going to be anything more.
I was going to say, do you want to turn it into anything like gaming related or anything like that? Or
not really.
You can post up?
Just post pictures that are going to go on my Instagram. So I'll post like this interview, let's say, and then I'll post my live streams on there. But I also just post pictures of me like with the spinning of the figure.
Love it.
So, and it's just, you're saying, that makes other people go, ooh, I'll have a look, and I'll just, it's not anything I'm going to go, I'm going to do a painting tutorial and stuff like that. I'm not that skill level, and I don't want to be that skill level as well.
Yeah. I totally understand where you're coming from on that one.
I'm like, I paint the way I like, and I do push it sometimes, but I don't I'm not going for like Golden Demon, because I can't be arsed. Basically.
I'm totally with you. One, lazy, and two, I've accepted I'll never be that patient. so no.
Well, this is it. It's like, yeah, and that's like following count stuff. That's why I started. As I say, I've got like, I think it's 9 or 10 figures that I've actually painted, and I've actually sent it back to. I had a commission, so I've sent a load of Fallout stuff to. I think it was 9 or 10. I can't remember now, but and I've sent it back to him. But I've got all the photos, and over the next like 10, 12 weeks, I'll slowly upload them. So it means I'm not pressured to go, oh God, I've got to finish another figure to get this onto Instagram to then do this. And it means I can just go, well, I've just taken like a week or 2 off from painting. Nothing's changed on my Instagram, but I can do that with batch paint as well. So
Well, it's important, isn't it, to like do your hobby the way you feel you're comfortable with, and like it's a kind of weird thing as well as like I think people sometimes I know other Instagrammers have said, I've got to post. There's a pressure for me to post every day. I was like, well, why? Where's that pressure coming from? Is it people telling you need to do that, or is it you, or do you feel that you?
And that's
You know
it.
what I mean?
I started doing. I do like a minimum of 2 posts a week. So usually one will be the actual pictures, and then one's the video. And that's literally what I do. And it's usually Tuesdays and Fridays. I think is usually when I do it. There's no sort of guarantee because sometimes I've gone, I can't be asked. I'll do it tomorrow. But at least it still has that regular content. So there is still photos going up, and there's still people going, oh, there's a new photo. But it's not me going, oh God, I've got to spend 6 hours painting this figure. Like at the moment on my table, I've literally got sat just like there is a Plague Burst Crawler. I've been doing it for like 4 weeks, but I've been like cutting his teeth, and I'll show you actually.
There you go. You got it, yeah. Oh, mate, that's amazing.
So I've made a little tongue and everything.
How did you make the tongue?
It's quick air dry clay, and then his eyes.
Mate, that's wicked.
So
it's really well done.
And then, so that's all that, but yeah, I've magnetised it all, and then he's going to have a sack at the back. This is going to be a sack. So it's going to look like a snail sort of thing. But I'm going to do. I think I've worked out how I can do it. I'm going to do hot glue from the sack, and it's going to look like a slime trail onto the figure.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it could be good. It might be shit. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just quick air dry. I think it's called Das Clay. We've got something called like Works, and you can get like a massive blob of it for like a tenner. And I've used it a couple of times. So my fetid bloat drone that's got like a poxwalker in, and it's got a random head. That's what I've used to fill the inside of that. So then I could press those things into it. So instead of like wasting good money on like green stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I need to find a cheaper method myself for my little.
Well, that's it. This quicker and the quick air dry glue is all this back here.
Oh, yeah.
This is all except for the blue tack. So a good tip if you ever need blue tack and super glue goes rock solid.
Huh.
And then because there was a mat, you can see the gap hole that I'd left.
You can see the gap.
The tongue I'd left. I'd done it separately. And I'd left it.
Mate, that's amazing. That looks really cool.
So it should be really cool. And I say the eyes are going to go on little. You can't see it, but there's like toothpicks here.
Well, I was going to say, where are you going to put the eyes? Is it going to be on the back of it or on the sides?
They're literally going to be sat in this gap. So I've pushed them in to divot them, and then I just use polystyrene balls to make the eyes.
Do you know what that kind of reminds me of? It's there was a cartoon of like monsters, like We Are Monsters or something like that, and there was a guy that held the eyeballs.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? And there was like a thin character with like black and white stripes, and there was a fat character, like but the guy that had the eyes and he held them in the mouth, like.
And that's it. It's something different, and I quite like the Plague Burst Crawler because it does seem to have this just like endless opportunities. Like my other one's got some zombies holding like a massive sludge of stuff, putting it into the plate, put it into like the mortar in the back. And it looks like they're doing that. And then I'm going to have a third one at some point when I get around to it. And it's just going to actually be painted properly. I haven't painted one without changing it. I have one
more. To be fair though, Nurgle kind of like, it makes you want to change stuff. Like in a way, like you want to kind of either make it more slimy or gross, or you can't help yourself.
But it's been quite good because as I've got my skills, like my Typhus, Typhus has this big like spear scythe above his head, and he looks like a fucking idiot. So I chopped his arm off. I literally chopped it off, and now it's like facing you. And then I cut half his knee out, and then I put him so he's like squishing an orc because he's standing on a tactical rock. He was standing on a tactical rock, and I hated it. So I cut off half his knee and then green stuffed his knee together again and put an orc underneath him, so he looks like he's smashing an orc into the ground.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. As I've got better, I've gone, just my Razor Saw is my best friend. And
Why
yeah,
not?
sorry.
What I mean, why not? Like it's man is right. I mean, it's your hobby. You know, you do you. And to be fair, your Typhus looks wicked. But I think the old Typhus model looks so much better.
Yeah,
Because he's got the old size out in front of him, and the flies are coming out of his back, and it just looks. I don't know what this like. And don't get me started on GW finding tactical rocks on every character, or they're finding some way to jump off a ruin, and you're like, how are all these characters finding this? Like,
I quite like. So the Lord of Contagion squishing some Nurglings underneath one of his feet, and I thought
that's
that
cool.
was quite cool.
That's thematic.
Yes, well, this is it. But yeah, stupid rocks. Just looking. Death Guard don't seem to have too many of that though. Like it's just
it's interesting. It's funny.
Yeah, it's just Typhus and Lord of Contagion. I think have just got like tactical shit, but the rest of the models don't seem to have it. And the Japanese models do, but that's special edition ones, so makes sense.
Mm. Have you got the other one that they? I never got the. You had to buy a paint set with it.
Yes, yeah, I did get that one as well. I didn't get the paint set. I just got the figure because I don't need paint.
I just couldn't justify the money when I was there. I was like, I can't justify buying a paint set for this model. I can't do it. I want it, but I can't do it.
No, that's it. That is usually what it comes down to. Can I justify and that's generally what my purchases are now, is like, can I actually justify buying this? Do I actually need it? So that's my plan, is a lot of the board games I've got, like, I'm going to probably sell the Hellboy, and I'm probably going to sell, I've got Hate as well, pardon me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm probably just going to paint them and sell them. A bit like I did with Fallout. And just, because I don't get much games into them. What's the point? They're literally gathering dust on a shelf.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Like, if you're not really going to use them, or you don't foreseeably using them in a period of time, it's like, yeah, just get rid of them. I did it actually with a Tau Fleet recently. I was like, I've got enough of this. I don't need it. I'm not going to use it. Just someone else will want it, you know, and they'll enjoy it. So
yeah,
it's kind of funny because you get these people who like are hoarding. You see this is my bits box, like my box, and they've got like 20 boxes of like unopened stuff, and you're like, someone might enjoy that when you sell it to someone, you know. But,
yeah.
So what board games are you looking forward to? Any board games coming out soon?
I don't really know what's coming out.
What's coming out? Well, you mentioned Kickstarter. Are there any other Kickstarters that you're really keen on at the moment?
No, because I'm trying to be more sensible of the shit I'm buying. So I haven't actually looked at many recently because I'm trying not to go on the app because I see about 6 things. So no, I haven't really looked. I know Mantic have just released something, but they're also going to do Umbrella Academy. So that you've seen that on Netflix.
Okay.
Loads of figures, and I'm like, fuck, I ain't gonna end up buying that.
Okay, that's I think I might be. The new Blackstone expansion. Yes, I'm a massive fan of the Blackstone stuff myself. You'll see that on my feed.
Yeah.
A friend, I didn't buy it. I let my mate buy it, as any good hobbyist should do. Let your mate encourage and enable your mate to buy stuff.
Yeah.
So you can play. And he's got all of them, but it's one of those games that have you played it yet, Jonathan?
No, I haven't actually. I've seen people play it, but it's just, I've got so many other things that I play. It's like I can't start another game. I hardly get to play any games as is because just can't be bothered.
If you do get an opportunity to play that one, though, I would, because you like the 40k universe. Yeah, that's actually quite fun because there's some weird and wonderful characters in that you just wouldn't get in the normal run of the mill, like the robot and the Zoat and things like that. Yeah, and it kind of harks back in the day, Rogue Trader, old times, the old old sort of stuff.
Like Mordheim.
Yes, Mordheim's.
There's rumours that's
sort
coming
of
back.
here, actually.
There's rumours it's coming back, but yeah, like Mordheim. Mordheim idea sounds cool because it's nothing to do with any universe really. It is to do with fantasy, but it's not like it's its own little thing.
Yes, yeah, and yes, Mordheim or a version of it is yes, coming. I can definitely tell you that.
Yeah,
People I know in the grapevine.
It's great when you know those sort of things.
Well, I got a mate who kind of has information, and it's like, you can't say these things. I'm like, I won't say a word, but I know these things are already out there. There's a few things that I know aren't out there, and it's like,
That's it. It's everywhere. Everyone's saying about Mordheim, and that should be quite cool. That's it.
Yeah, it should be.
I can't.
It's just another game I can't add to the list. I promised myself I wouldn't do Titanicus, but I failed with that. I bought a Reaver the other day.
I just want one of the Warhounds. I just want one. I'm never going to use it ever. It just doesn't work. But yeah.
They're so good, mate. They're such pretty models. It's painful how good they are. I've got my old ones sitting here, come here, you. So that's a Warhound from the olden days from Forge World, and it's probably about double the size. And you're like, oh man, kind of wish I could still use these old ones, but nah.
It's probably almost scale for Epic though.
Well, it's more like 10 mil. So so like the old Epic, which I actually have a ton. Literally have a ton sitting right next to me. It's like,
oh god.
Yeah, they're 5 to 6 mil, and then they almost double in size. Like the Aeronautica ones as well fit with Titanicus.
Yeah.
But they are still probably 1.5 times bigger. Yeah, doesn't quite when they're on the table. It doesn't quite work. Doesn't look quite right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
unfortunately, but it's still an amazing game to see, and it's quite quick. But yeah, so just another one of those games that you're just like, do I have time for this?
And that's it. I just do too many things beside this hobby, to just justify knowing another game system.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've got all the mates I have here in the hobby. Within Sydney are all enablers though. so if they like a game, they're like, yeah, come on, let's just play it. And then you're kind of like, well, actually it's quite fun and I kind of want it now. It's like, damn it.
Because I don't really play. I got a gaming chat, but I don't really play very often. I actually haven't played with most of them. I've played with 3 of them in this chat of about 20 or 30 people. So it's not too bad because so it means that I'm not playing games regularly because you can't really hang out in shops at the moment, so it's even better. And we don't have a regular Wednesday night gaming club here. We did used to, but it seemed to get overtaken by Magic the Gathering, and then everybody was just like, I can't play a game, I can't hear a thing.
Yeah, I feel you there because we have a club, we have a couple of clubs that I can go to, but they're off at the moment for obvious reasons. But a few of the local game stores are open and have a few tables for restrictions and stuff. But on Thursday night when I played BFG and we played some Titanicus as well, they had a ton of Dragon Ball Z card players. Oh, yes. I don't really know that game. I know that obviously of the anime and all that sort of stuff. But but it was so they came over and told us, the 4 of us were like, boys, before the Dragon Ball guys came in, like, boys, this is a kind of friendly store. Can you make sure you keep your swearing down? We're like, yeah, no problem at all. Too easy. The Dragon Ball guys came in. There's 20 of them, and they're just like rah, 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 swearing like mad.
So loud.
And you're like, guys, you're playing a card game. Calm down.
I didn't get banned, but I was asked not to come in as often for a couple of months. Somebody put a complaint in once for me, so I was trying to teach this. The kid had come into the store one time, and I used to know this store owner quite well back in the day, and he said, "Oh, is there any chance you can teach this?" He was like 10. Can you teach this kid 40k? He really is interested by it. Just use the shop models, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, no bother. A load of Magic Gathering players, they were the other end of the store, and the kid couldn't hear me, and I was stood next to him. And I just turned around and goes, "Guys, can you shut up? I'm trying to teach somebody how to play a game, yeah, and we can't hear each other." They put a complaint in, so then I had to not go in very often. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That's not on. Yeah, it's not on. That's not on. You can't do that.
It just meant that there's been other things happening in this store, and I'm just like, I'm not going to go back to this store now. There's another one. I can go somewhere else.
You lost my business, man. Like, you lost my business. As simple as that, isn't it? Got to be careful with that sort of stuff. Yeah. It was. I just found it amusing that the four of us just got like, calm down, boys. I'm like, yeah, all right, don't worry, we're all good. And then the guys came in, there was nothing. You're like, oh man, okay, fine.
Yeah,
that's all good.
I think because they get lots of turnover with card games.
Yeah, well, it's a bit. Card games are the big business. Like, people come in, like, for here anyway. Like, we'll buy tabletop games, and yeah, they're like $100 a model here, because Australia tax. But at the end of the day, the guys are coming in pretty much every day and buying new packs of cards, like all the time, and in multiple systems. And we've got a large Asian market here too.
Okay, yeah.
With like all the Asian card games, and like you got Final Fantasy and all that sort of stuff, massive. And Pokemon's huge, So you got all that too, and like card games for animes, you just wouldn't even have a clue what they are because they're not here. They're not like brought over to English market. It's just in Japan.
Yeah, like pop culture type. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they just make shit tons of it. Like that's them. So they're always going to cater for that, which is cool. They've got to make them.
It's fine, but if they're being noisy, they need to be told to shut up. Especially
totally.
And I was trying to teach him 40k.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that might, if it works well, that's somebody for 20 years coming into your shop and just occasionally dropping a couple of hundred,
100%, mate. Yeah, 100%.
But
what can you do, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
What can you do? Hopefully the kid that you were teaching knew that and is still in the hobby somewhere.
Yeah, and if he's not, he's not. If he is, I've taught loads of people with it because I say I'm not a very competitive player, but because I will help people out. Like, even in tournaments, I'm like, you forgot your rule, this rule, that I can't do this.
You're too nice for your own good, Jonathan.
But that's fine. I'm quite happy. It's why I stay out a lot of the Instagram dramas these days, because I'm like, fuck this.
Totally with you on that, mate.
I just try and stay out of it. And people ask for my opinion, I'm like, I'm not giving it.
No, I'm generally totally on board with that, with you, mate. I mean, I think my last post was my first foray into it and my last, because both you and I know and talk to a number of members of the community that's affected by.
Yeah.
And so I joined that. But most of the time it's like, no, I'm leaving that. I'm just not.
And to be honest, I am leaving it. There's so many posts about it. Why just what makes difference, really? Like, yeah, I agree, or I disagree, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, and it's the beauty is that you don't need to feel obligated to do anything or say anything or post whatever, because it's your page. Like, it doesn't matter.
And that's what I said. Well, that's what I've said to a lot of people. It's just, you should, you don't defend this person, you don't defend this person. Yeah, because it's their page, their drama.
Yeah. Leave it at that.
That's probably why I've never had much drama on my page.
Totally with you, mate. Totally with you. Hey, just letting you know, we're probably going to get the 30-second warning in a minute.
Okay.
That's gone freaking quick, to be fair.
Yep.
Yeah, bang on 30 seconds. There you go. Jonathan, mate, that's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, buddy. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, it was lovely. Thank you for having us.
No problem at all, mate. And I hopefully have you on again at sometime in the future, as I say to all the other guys and girls. So, yeah, thank you very much for coming on, mate. And
thank you.
See you soon.
Wrestling. Bye.
Thanks, mate.